So, did Jesus answer Peter's question or not? Was that parable meant for us? That would be like the apostles, the disciples, the ones that follow Jesus more closely? Or was that intended for everyone? What do you think? No idea. This is a trick question. It is interesting that Jesus does not reply that, in my opinion, because it is intended for us and for everyone, which would be therefore for everyone, but not for everyone in the same way. So it is a bit of both. Let me explain why. The last line of the gospel, I think, gives it away. Those who have received more will be demanded more, and those who have received even more will be demanded even more. And when you are a disciple of Christ, when you have the gift of faith, when you have all these things, you actually have a lot. Sometimes we feel kind of poor and left behind and persecuted, and I'm not that rich, I'm not like these multimillionaires. But actually, you are very, very rich. You are much richer than many of the billionaires. And I think it's pointless to compare, but anyway. The point is, we have received much. We actually know quite a bit the will of God, the will of the Master. And therefore, we are responsible for that knowledge. We are responsible for those gifts. And in justice, we should give accordingly. What does it mean not to give? What is it that the gospel today is reproaching clearly? Is the person who has received a lot and uses these gifts for himself. Beats up the maid servants and the men servants, eats and drinks and gets drunk. It's all about me. And self-centeredness is an issue that we have today quite a bit. It is so easy to slip into, I just want to serve myself. And that is what Jesus is saying very clearly. Look, if you knew that egoism is something bad, well, you're going to get a severe beating. If you happen to not know, well, that's not a lot of humanity, well, then you're not going to get beaten severely. You're just going to get beaten, lightly. You're still getting beaten. It's not a good idea. It's not a good idea to be egoist. It's not a good idea to serve yourself. It's interesting. Next Sunday we're going to have like the gospel about the commandments. Commandments sometimes feels like the law, and it is the law. But more than the law and more than a commandment, it is a path. I find it so beautiful in the Old Testament when they ask themselves, what nation is there so great that has a God that has given the wisdom of these commandments? When you are taught to not be egocentric, you're being taught something incredibly important. It's a huge gift, because what you're given in those commandments is the path of life. So let us embrace all these gifts that we have received from our Father in heaven, and let us offer them out. Let us put them to service. Let us give them away according to the many gifts that we have received.